Alright. Keep my baby round man's name out of your mouth. Oh no. Totally not MP5 slander. I don't know if I would compare this gun to the... It reminds me more of like the UMP. The UMP like 45. Not 9mm. It reminds me of the UMP, or not sorry, the P5. The problem with the Rubberman to me is it's just too small of a magazine. Each bullet just doesn't feel like it does enough for each individual magazine. Rate of fire closer to UMP. The slap is definitely U5. Yeah, sure. No, I get what you mean by that. Like, I feel like the Reprimand either needs to do more damage per bullet or just needs a bigger magazine. I give it like an additional 5 rounds or something. Because what is it, 25 right now? Yeah, it's 25. What do you think of the campaign reward? Cool. Can't really complain. It's fun. You know, nothing to go crazy about, but, you know, it's cool. I'm sure there's gonna be some people that expect a new stratagem every single, you know, campaign, but, you know, I think that's pretty unrealistic to expect those kind of things. So, if, let's say, the average campaign reward is kind of like, you know, just some kind of cosmetic, sure, fine. And then every once in a while we get something more special like a gun or a stratagem. Cool. Yeah, cool. Song. Oh, this is Destiny 2. What's it called? Beyond Light. Destiny 2 always had really good fucking music. They're gonna drag the scrapped Warbond items out? Oh, of course they are. Well, right now we're just getting scrapped, like, Superstore page, but yeah. Of course. But, I mean, is there anything wrong with that? Something that originally you would have had to pay for is now just getting given to you for free. Cool. Just a W. People got exactly what they wanted. How do we know these were scrapped? All the leaks. If you participate, though, which is also what people wanted. I have mixed feelings on the needing to participate, though. Personally, I would have preferred them do like the old school, like if the community succeeds, the community gets it, rather than only those that log in. I'm not a huge fan of them doing the FOMO. I think the I think they wanted that with medals and not the content. It sounded like both. I've seen comments of like, you didn't help. Like, I remember back in the day when people made comments of, you didn't help get the mech, you shouldn't get the mech. You know? Yeah, and I agree, Corn. It's, you know, if I was just a casual enjoyer of the game, this type of FOMO would not lead me to be very happy with the direction they're going. And I mean, it's eventually going to become to everybody, so it's not pure FOMO. So, you know, fair enough to them. But it is a long period of time. Like, the supply for V is not going to be available to people until October? Dude, I get like a month. Maybe 2, but like October? I don't know. I don't think that was a good choice for them. And no telling when we'll see the marksman rifle. Well, yeah. I was saying it. I've been saying it a lot on stream. You probably haven't been here for it, but I was hoping that the personal campaigns that we're supposed to get later was going to be the way that we unlock, you know, these rewards that we're getting now. Apparently, that's not the case. And it just seems very unusual that they're doing it that way. Because in my mind, the perfect system for them, so everybody's happy, is like, okay, you unlock the thing from the campaign immediately if you participate in the campaign or log in during that time period, right? Fair enough. But if you don't and you come back to the game, you have a little like personal campaign to go do, which is basically just, you know, do a bunch of targeted missions, kind of like Deep Rock Galactic, and that's how you unlock, you know, new weapons in that game, right? You do like a personal campaign. It's basically just a collection of missions on particular planets or whatever, right? And once you do them, you get them immediately, right? That would have been the way to do it and handle the situation. The current way that they're handling it just ain't it, bro. No, because I understand that, like, the way they previously did it, it didn't incentivize people to do the MO. Right? So, wanting to change that and improve and make the campaigns, you know... Because, like, it's not exactly like you just have to log in during, like, 1 week of gameplay. It's usually, like, 3 weeks. So it's not the most crazy thing ever, but, like... They just don't seem to have the system to unlock it after the campaign. And that's what they're missing here. Cause like look at how many people just like don't even think about the tank as an MO reward, right? Which it actually is an MO reward. People just kind of forgot that, right? But imagine if you logged in afterwards for the tank, you'd actually have to go do something to get the tank. Airhead refusing to learn for other people's mistakes. I don't know what you mean by that. Yo, mute yourself, bruh. We can hear you. What? Yeah, I understand what you meant. What mistakes? Sorry, what? That begs the question of why don't people want to do the MO? People get bored of only playing the MO. Because MOs are so long. But I don't think there's any problem with people not doing it. Okay, how do I word this? People don't want to log in all the time because it's... Helldivers, you can't play it like I do. You shouldn't play it like I do. You should play when you want to. But they're trying to convince people to come back and play in between, right? In between those massive MOs, which is fair enough. I mean, of course they want that to happen. So giving MO rewards that hopefully incentivize people to play is fair enough. And it wouldn't feel that FOMO if there was just a way to unlock it once the campaign was over. The problem here is not that there's a reward or anything like that. It's just, or that you even have to log in. It's just not being able to unlock it immediately after the MO is silly. And I think that's because they were rushed into this situation because of the previous WARBOND's criticisms, right? Of it having what people thought should be an MO reward, right? Which is the max. So I think they hastily brought back a lot of MO rewards, but that's run into an issue of, you know, because they've hastily brought it out, they don't have a system to unlock it right now. They're trying to do too many things at once. Too quickly. Could they not just give it to everybody after a month? They could. I don't know why they've decided October for the supply FRV. And that one is a head scratcher. I'm not sure. Just add another currency? No. Don't add another currency. Please, no. This game doesn't need more currencies. It doesn't need to be another currency. Just all they have to do is... Other games have done this already where it's like, you know, you just got to go do something to get it because you weren't there when everybody else was unlocking it. I'm still hoping that they're going to go do that, but who knows? Not sure. No, don't lock it behind a high level. No. Medals, I wouldn't do either. Just go make people just go do something. Personal campaigns, man. They literally have the answer in front of them. It's personal campaigns. And they've told us personal campaigns are coming, so I don't know why personal campaigns doesn't equal MO reward that you didn't have. Right now, I'm at the point of D2 after Lightfall. I don't feel like the game is worth... I mean, the game is definitely in a much better state than Lightfall. You're just in a more of a burnout phase, and that just happens with live service games. HG2 is arguably in the best spot it's ever been in like so many different ways. But it's hard to see that if all you do is play this game day in and day out. We're also right before the next, you know, big content release, which happens every 4 to 6 months. It's kind of like playing Destiny right before an expansion. There's not much going on. You're just playing catch up. Sure, bye. Okay. That guy just wanted to be angry, and I said anything other than what he wanted, he was out of here. They need to actually spend time producing some cool personal order campaign rewards first. More titles, ship names, player cards. Sure. I mean, they could start with just releasing the Warbond that, you know. They could just start with that. Do you think the bot's base station actually exists, or is it bot propaganda? I don't know. I guess we'll know if it ever actually does something. Don't know, Pete. And that one's a head scratcher. I don't get it. I feel like it's a bad choice by them. Maybe they have a reason. And for some reason they're not giving it. Yeah, not sure. We don't know if the title update will be in August. We just know it's coming. Right, and they're moving towards it. With it being most likely an Illuminate one. I'm gonna be a doomer and say the reason is good enough. Oh, I don't think there's any reason I'd be okay with it being delayed till October. I don't even think that's a doomer thing to say. It's just, you know, it's a bad choice. You know? Like, they'd have to have, like, a stupendously good reason. And I can't imagine one. And if that's the case, it's just a bad choice by them. Unfortunately, this isn't the last live service game to do FOMO, and sorry, it isn't the first live service game to do FOMO, and it won't be the last. It's a very common occurrence. with live service games. Arrowhead has done well to avoid it. And I hope they can see the error of their ways, because I know I'm not the only one saying this about their awards being delayed so much. I'm hoping they can see the error of their ways and correct for it. They usually do that, so I'm not too worried. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm going to talk about it, because I'm hoping it's kind of one of those, like, got to keep talking about it until they do something about it. It's not the end of the world, but I'd like to see it not continue. Well, had they said October, so they can change it to be sooner to farm up votes. No, I don't think so. Isn't campaign rewards inherently a bit of FOMO? Not if there was a way to unlock it immediately afterwards, right? If there's no time delay, no. Right? The problem here is that you have to wait for an extended period of time before you can unlock it, right? What if the way to unlock it is SC? I don't think people overall would be happy with that. Even though I would understand it from like a business perspective, I don't think it's a good idea. How long of the gap will this Spy for V be? Spy for V came out in June or July. I don't. So it'll be like 4.5 months. That is way too long. If you're gonna do something like this and you're not gonna have the system that I was talking about, a month at most before everybody gets access. And even then, that's still FOMO, and I don't think they should be, you know, angling towards FOMO. If there's gonna be FOMO, it needs to be very light. Like, hey, here's a cape that you only get if you were there to defend Super Earth. That is technically FOMO, but that's acceptable FOMO because it's part of an event that is like a one-time thing, right? Like, it sucks, but like, that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Because it's kind of like a timepiece reward rather than anything that actually matters. Right? But as soon as it's like a gameplay oriented thing as part of a reward that is then time gated or just like never comes out again, yeah, that's not okay. That's a step too far. And as someone who's played a lot of Destiny, that happened a lot in Destiny, where, you know, there was a gameplay thing that just went away. And then it would take months and months before they added like an activity or some way to like get the weapon or farm the weapon again. Either because they never added an activity again that would drop it, or it took them a while before they added new content that gave you a variation, usually better, of the thing that you can't get anymore, right? And that sucks. And that's why I don't like this, because I experienced it so much in Destiny. that it like it's like repulsive when I see Helldivers going somewhat in the same direction. What up, Lifted? AR type. Like with the Void thingy jetpack. I mean, you mean the Turing one? Or when we were doing, not Turing, whatever. Like that one event? No, because that wasn't a permanent unlock. That was just like a, you know, a mission thing. That one's like whatever. You didn't miss out not playing around with that dark fluid blackback. Warbomb powder anywhere. I think we'll know on the 30th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but I don't think that's FOMO, really. Because I don't think you really missed out on anything. It's just a slightly, yeah, it's a slightly different jetpack, but it's not like people got to keep it, right? They would be FOMO if people got to keep it and you just never got the ability to get one, right? That is not good. That would be like Destiny. Yeah, the 30th is the 40K reveal. I'm guessing we'll know a date for when it comes out. It would be such a bad teaser if they show it off and then they're like, hey, later this year. God, I hope they don't do that. That would be so bad. The bolt pistol was shown off in the teaser for the teaser. So we already know about a bolt pistol. We just don't know what else is going to be there. I miss the shooters at the end of the radio missions. Same. We've talked about it at length about it'd be cool to get those back. You guys ready? What's the reward if we complete the ammo? It's just the armor set, I believe, that goes along with the helmet we just got. I think the community needs to be prepared for the 40K Warbond and not come out after the week after the trailer. Yes, yeah, I agree. I think they said they were never bringing back the old civilian missions. No, there was a dev interview with a level designer, and they said they would maybe bring them back. There was no firm committal either way. They were flawed, though, the civilian missions, so... I would like to see the civilian missions come back in some capacity, but not the same. They were very flawed missions. They weren't fair. Only the bug version was fair. The bot was not fair at all. So, hopefully they just never bring back the... Like, if they focus more on the bug version and then make them more like that, it's cool. I feel like we already have equivalents of the las guns. Not really. The closest thing that we have is the Trident. It's the closest thing we have to a las gun. But if we got like an AR or a DMR las gun, that'd be cool. Don't we have a laser? No, it's plasma. Which is very different because it's very much like AoE oriented. We have beam weapons. And the sickle is a las gun adjacent, but it is different. We don't really have any copies of them yet. They're just similar. Double-edged laser. That one's very different because of how the gun mechanics work. It's very unique. I think it's the enemy spawns from the missions I miss. The game has changed a lot since then. We're just more powerful. Because the spawns are very similar. It's just we're more powerful. It's the result of us just being able to destroy things much more efficiently. That's why we don't feel as overwhelmed. Because they need to throw more enemies at us, but the game can't do that at an acceptable frame rate for people. So Arrowhead is between two like immovable pillars, right? People want the game to run well, but they also want crazy amounts of enemies at all times. But it's like anyone on a low-end PC or on like an older console that's like slightly overheating, the game becomes unplayable for them, right? But whereas people with like really good PCs, they're like, where are all the enemies at, bruh? So it's like they're in just a really weird spot. Like some enemies, factions we get less of. I know that. And it definitely seems like they spawn less enemies, maybe due to performance, or I don't know, maybe it's a bug. I'm not sure, because I talked to Clay and he says that, but you know. I wouldn't say that. I remember getting 1,000+ kills per mission. I was changed for performance, so I get it, but it's unfortunate. I mean, you can still get 1,000+ kill missions. You just need to get the right variant. And those variants are less happening because people want difficulty. Okay, and then there's actually a trifecta here, right? So people want lots of enemies. They want really good performance, but they also want difficulty. And here, it's been a while since I brought up paint, but I feel like I need to express it through paint. So it's like, you know, it's like more, and then it's like literally more and, you know, perf, right? So like if you go in one direction, like it affects the other one, right? Not always, because like if you go for more difficulty, it doesn't always mean less performance, but it depends on how you go. Like if you just spawn more enemies to be more difficult, it will negatively affect performance, right? If you just do more enemies, it affects performance. If you just do more enemies to make it like more hunters or like scavengers, like the way it used to be, like there used to be strains on bugs that were just, you know, hunters and scavs, right? You probably remember that. And those are the ones you got like 1,000+ kills on. But the thing is that's really easy, right? So once again, if you go for more, you're not really getting more difficulty. If they just give us a lot of really tough enemies to kill, it's not always more enemies. So the problem is that if they go in one direction, it often, you know, affects the rest. Is what I think is happening a lot here. In the best case scenario, you could do all three at the exact same time. And that has improved. Like we do have more performance for more or less the same amount of enemies as before, right? Which is awesome. Personally, I think the game has gotten easier since the AI changes, not harder. It's not because of AI changes. Well, okay, there is AI changes because they're dumber, but that's for stealth, right? That's, do I need to add another point to the triangle of stealth? Right? People wanted stealth, which took away from difficulty, right? Which also technically takes away from more because you don't aggro as many enemies. So people want things and it inadvertently affects other parts of the game, right? But that'll always kind of happen with a video game. Like inadvertently the stealth patches made the game a lot easier because you just aggro less enemies, right? It doesn't happen as much. So you get less bot drops or less, bug breaches on average. Because it used to be that like you would aggro like enemies very easily, a lot more easily. But like, once again, you say the amount that was on the screen was very challenging, but you can't have that many enemies on the screen because we're so much more powerful. Because we are more powerful, there are less enemies on the screen because we kill them so much easier. You could just like, dude, the power scale is insane. Like the best example I can give you is the las gun. This gun makes hunter and scavenger or like pouncer like missions a joke. If they brought back that, it wouldn't mean more difficulty because we're so much more powerful now. The enemies would just fucking fall over. Like the scythe would be so broken versus them, right? But if you go back 2 years, the scythe was not the way it was. That same amount of enemies was so much harder to deal with because we just didn't have orbital napalm barrage. We didn't have scythe the way it was. Turrets weren't as effective because they got killed easier. When they reduced the enemy numbers, they said something that the AI is not being able to all work if there are too many. They didn't reduce the AI numbers then. You're mistaking that. When they said AI wasn't working properly, they changed it. So, because what was happening is if there's too many enemies, the enemies were just going dumb or they just weren't firing. They changed that. They didn't reduce the amount of enemies at that time though. But also in that same patch, performance did get worse because enemies weren't going at AFK as much. Like, it's just such a complicated topic because so many things affect it. Because we're more powerful, the average mission happens a lot faster now. So you have less time in the mission. So you don't get as many kills. So that people think there's less enemies in the mission also. Because stealth has been added more to the game, you get less bug breaches, which means less enemies spawn. Right? Because we can kill enemies so much more effectively, one guy that has a bug breach on them doesn't feel nearly as overwhelming, so it feels like there's less enemies, right? Like there's like many compounding issues that make people feel a certain way. But because of all those things that people wanted added, they can't do other things like more difficulty or like people want performance, but they also want more enemies, but they like kind of fight each other. So I don't know. It's just such a weird quagmire of like what direction they like you can pull it. It's like what's that graph that games like to use where you have like a bunch of plot points around and then it like stretches in the direction of more or less, right? And then, it might turn into like a fucking like octagon or like a pentagram or whatever, depending on how many places it gets pulled from. More or less, Helldivers kind of feels like that, where it's being pulled in certain directions, but it means that it's being pulled less in certain. Is it just called a spider graph? So you think less enemies are spawning because they're more powerful? Cosmic, I mean this in the nicest way possible. Did you even listen to anything I just said? I don't want to repeat myself. I'll be honest because I just yapped. So maybe the system counting kill doesn't count enemies part as 2 enemies now? No, I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think there's anything wrong with the counter. Hellbound counter's wrong. I mean, there was a lot more like counters that were just wrong back in the day. So that I mean, that does have a problem. That is a fair point for sure. You think we get less bug breaches because we kill things faster? Yeah, I didn't talk about that, but yeah, that is a symptom as well. Doesn't make any sense. Enemies are spawning even if you try to farm. Well, the thing is that like almost nobody plays the game like that, Cosmic. I understand like Clay and them play the game like that, where they on purpose try to farm kills and get a number as an end result. But like basically nobody does that. Right? So it's such like it's a data point that is so like out there that people don't like, it doesn't really attribute to much. But it's also like, just because a number is lower doesn't mean other things haven't changed, right? So bigger number doesn't always mean better, because bigger number for bot missions, for instance, would just mean more tier 1 bots. But tier 1 bots don't equal difficulty. But the common complaint on high tier is that the game isn't very difficult. So what do the devs maybe do? Oh, less tier 1 bots and more tier 2 or tier 3 bots. But then you might see less kills, and then you're going to think there's a problem, right? It's not that simple, right? Oh, bigger number bigger number better. But bigger number could also mean that the game is just easier. You know? Because I can't speak on like farming kills, because I don't do that. 99% of players in HT2 don't sit there just farming kills and look at the number at the end. They more or less just play the main objective and they get kills along the way. But I think a lot of people are reporting less numbers because they're finishing the missions faster, stealth changes, and then we're just more powerful, so less bot drops happen. It's like a combination. Carl says it correctly, like 1,000 chaff bots versus 5 Vox engines. Obviously the extreme end of the scale, but yeah. Like it's so much easier to kill 1,000 chaff bots in a way. Because they just fall over. Like one dude with a scythe could kill like hundreds with every pass. You know? Be insane. I don't either, but the 100 mil kill order made me realize I could see the higher tier enemies thing. Being a real reason why. I don't understand what you mean by that. Because there's so many factors that play into the 100 mil kill order. Like, you know, which faction, at what period of time are we talking about? Because at certain periods of time, those faction counters weren't very accurate. How many people were on at that time? Was there a big MO along, or was there a war bond? Because player numbers matter. It's like infinitely complex to be able to correlate anything from that. Surprised we don't have a heavy kill counter. I wish we did. Enemy can't call reinforcements if they're all dead, or if they're dumber because the stealth changes, right? Total damage done would be interesting. Spot order over the course of 2 days. Let's say because we failed the side order, but because the order made me kill farm, get like 800-900 kills by the end of the 40-minute mission. I mean, it didn't make you do that. You chose to do that. I think we should separate that. You wanted to go do that. The devs don't want you to go kill farm. I don't think that is in any way their goal. They want you to do missions as normal and just kill on the way, right? Because for many, kill farming would get really boring. That's why I say the vast majority of people do not just sit there kill farming. I wasn't saying that, but okay. Well, I mean... Because the... Well, I mean, you said because that order made me kill farm. I'm just like... Because I wanted to, is that better? Yeah. Sure. I don't know. I'm just like I just feel like that statement is like Superman good or mid? With the current power scale of weapons, mid. I don't think it's a bad weapon. It's like, it's just balanced somewhere around B. Doesn't feel bad, doesn't feel great. Even if John Pilstad himself forced me to kill 4 on 210, I wouldn't complain. But many would, right? That's more of my, like... that was more of my point I was making, is that, like, for MOs, like, when they do that, it's just another form of do a certain number of missions. It's like a, just more players situation. Because I hate kill farming. I think it's boring as hell. Kill farming is just another version of a defense mission. It's the best way to level up weapons. Blitz missions. Or high-level missions as fast as possible. I'd probably recommend, like, regular, like, you know, regular Lumina missions can be, like, completed ridiculously fast. The only problem is that there's less side objectives on Illumina missions, so on average they got less experience, but if you complete the mission fast enough, your XP per hour will be really good. But it's typically kind of like what Fame was saying, it's just like short missions, high difficulty, but I would avoid defense missions. I wouldn't do TCS missions. Basically just blitz missions and try to do the side objectives as fast as possible. Choose by joining late pub missions. Yeah, that's, yeah, technically, yeah. Cheesy, but yeah. Honestly, a strat, technically. The only reason I wouldn't recommend what Kali said is just because time is important. It's like the same reason why I don't recommend someone go do tier 10 to get samples. How long it takes you to get that XP matters. Because it's all about XP per hour. It's not XP per mission. XP per mission doesn't really matter that much. That's why, like I just said, Illumina missions. Illumina missions are actually really good, even though you get less XP on average per mission. Because you do Illumina missions so fucking fast in comparison to the other factions. Outside high world missions, I think XP is still bugged outside of those missions. What's bugged about it? The hell's the last? Oh. The percentage? Like, you mean the time left percentage? It's so little XP, I don't think it really matters. Keeper Galaxy and Left 4 Dead 2 both have mods. Did Arrowhead ever say anything about allowing that for HG2? What kind of mods? HG2 has mods. Oh, Blitz giving 2200 to 2500 full completion. They at one point nerfed Blitz missions. Because in comparison to regular missions, Blitz missions were giving a crazy amount. This was, I don't remember when. It was a while ago. I remember the patch talking about it, though. It wasn't a massive change, but it was like a couple hundred XP less. It's because, like, Blitz mission farming, I think, was, like, to be fair, you know, like, pretty insane compared to just doing regular missions. So they brought Blitz missions down. Blitz missions are still the fastest, but they were brought down. Personally, I'm more in the camp of they probably should just brought up, especially the ones that are really bad, like the fence missions. But c'est la vie. It wasn't that big of a change to the Blitz missions, so it didn't really matter that much. Sorry, Radio. Are you talking about, like, officially supporting mods in HG2? I don't think Arrowhead's ever really talked about it, other than saying, hey, we're totally cool with people modding the game. Other than, you know, obviously, like, cheating. Like, cheat engines. I think Arrowhead, if I had to guess, is mostly, like, totally for, like, cosmetic mods. I think mods that go above and beyond the cosmetic side are where there would be that gray zone, you know? I think the full operation should award you more. The metal increase isn't enough. Needs to be across the board. Personally, I don't really mind. Blitz missions have their own difficulty. I think it's fine if a blitz mission is completed really fast and gives you just about an experience, because the difficulty is doing that mission that fast. You could technically do a full mission as fast as a blitz mission. You just have to be speedy with it. Not all full missions would be able to do it that way, but... Issue is a cross-platform game. It'd be difficult to support mods on consoles. I do think that is a big element because it's technically a PlayStation first game. No, maybe not PlayStation first, but you know what I mean. Like, it's like Sony owned, and you know, obviously consoles are a big aspect of this game. I think that does, you know, play a factor for sure. If it was more PC focused, maybe it would be. But like the devs are like very friendly to mods. Like I've never heard of anyone ever getting banned for like modding a game. Cheating, sure, but like modding, no. I will mod my Helldiver to have an ass so massive, Airhead will have to intervene. Like, get you a forklift to move around? There isn't a big incentive to play an operation to completion. I mean, with all the changes they made, that's the thing, is that it used to matter a lot more because basically you wouldn't get very much like liberation completion if you didn't do full completions, right? But then they changed that to be more player friendly. But now it's happened the opposite of people don't feel like they need to go do operation completions. Well, that's maybe a good thing because not everybody, because the game is more casual. Like, not forcing people to have to play for like an hour or more and be successful the entire time is a good thing. Maybe. You can pick up, play a mission of HG2 and then drop it, and you're not really punished at all. I don't know. I just don't like MOs that require full operations. The irony. Because, I mean, there already is currently a medal bonus, but maybe if they added more bonuses. But like I said, people don't like having to do full operations. That's the irony. Because some people just want to do certain missions, and that just happens naturally over time. They don't like certain missions as much as other missions. And it's like, yo, you could say, well, they need to improve those missions, but it's like, those missions might be fine. Some people just have personal preferences, right? But like, some people like doing that mission, so it's like, do they really need to be changed? Everybody has a different, like, mission that they love versus a mission that they hate. So giving people more freedom to just, like, do whatever they want is good. But I'd be down if there was some kind of, like, stacking XP bonus if you, like, did a whole operation versus just doing the blitz inside of it and then moving on. Sure. But there already is that in terms of medals, right? That's what the medal thing is about. Does it need to be more? I feel like we only feel that way because we don't need medals as much as new players. Like I think if you're a new player, you mostly just do the whole operation because bonus medals. But it's like the people who want XP are very different, and usually people min-max the shit out of XP farming to the point where it's like not fun anymore. But that's like an entirely different issue in general because that's just a gamer thing. And it's hard to compensate for that. People just, you know, min-max the shit out of something and stop having fun because of it. What's the new reward? Armor. Min-maxing, brother. I didn't say Fane is min-maxing the shit out of the game. No, I'm not saying you specifically, but a lot of gamers tend to min-max the shit out of their games, which results in them having like doing things that is less fun, and they contribute that to the game's fault. Sometimes it's the player. If they didn't min-max the game so hard, they'd probably have more fun. You know, an example of that is like the people who like only use one loadout, the meta loadout, and they don't change it up. They don't play different types of missions, different factions, different loadouts. You know, you're gonna get so much more bored not changing things up, and then you're gonna like blame the game. Oh, there's not enough content. It's the same thing over and over again. But it's like, if you play differently, you'll get a lot more out of it. Maple is clear. Now what the squids are trying to do. Eh? Oh. Wow. I'm out there, been max these loadouts. Speaking of loadouts, the Patriot feels great against pro players. It's that minigun, dude. It feels so good. Yeah. It's why, like, a lot of the high fire rate, like, just weapons feel really good against them. The missiles don't do much, but that minigun, bro, it slaps. Courier, I didn't mean on purpose to ignore your message. We've just talked about it a lot already. We're unsure why the supply FRV is going to take that long. I don't want to get into like another like 10-minute plus conversation on it. I think it's a bad choice, and I hope they change their mind on it or give us a way to unlock it sooner, like through personal campaigns. The rocket one-shots, the melee mech arm. Rockets are good. There's not enough of them to be good. You're using 1/7 of your ammo, Fane, to kill one appropriator. That's not good ammo economy. Compared to the other mechs, it's not very good. The rockets are not good. The rockets need to do more damage. So I'm really hoping that they change their mind on the Spy for V. And I think there's, I don't think it's sailed cosmic. I think they could change their mind. Arrowhead has changed their mind many times in the past due to player feedback. Like it is hard for me to list out all of them. They have reverted things so often, or just changed course in direction a lot. So we're not talking about like Bungie here, where like they are set in stone what they are trying to do. No, they changed them out a lot. Arrowhead are one of the developers that I feel most confident in saying that they would change their mind. Why did that bounce, bruh? Can't wait for the bouncing patch. Boop. Oh, went too far. Have you heard of the story of Marathon? It's not... Sorry, what? The Marathon devs are very good about changing course and implementing things. Oh, I know the Star Wars. I don't know what I mean. Marathon. Level 150 now. Congrats. Happy for you. It's a big milestone. Marathon's better not talked about as a Bungie fan. I mean, I would talk about it. I like Marathon. But people like to blame Marathon for Bungie's woes, when it's not Marathon's fault. It's just bad management. The thing you don't want to talk about as a Bungie fan is the leadership of Bungie. They made so many mistakes over the course of half a decade plus. I don't know, this was a Discord announcement? So you're saying to me that just because they posted in Discord that it would come out in October, they can't make another Discord announcement saying that it'll come out sooner? Like, I would understand your point, Cosmic, if it was like a YouTube thing. Like, they put out a YouTube video about it. But, like, they've reversed course on so many things in HD2. Like, the price of the Killzone Warbond. The PS5, or the PlayStation sign-in. Like I said, like, there's so many instances. I'd be here for like 10 minutes talking about all the things they've reversed course on. Why October specifically? Dude, you guys are all gonna say the same thing. I don't know either. I think it's a bad choice. That's why I'm thinking, like, if, you know, people just, like, you know, ask, like, what the why? You know, I think they'll actually change their mind on it. Because it just seems like a really bad choice. Like, it's not like a Discord post is a legally binding action or anything like that. So because most of the player base doesn't stock the Discord for updates. Your point works against itself, Cosmic. Because they put out a Discord announcement saying that it comes out in October, think about it. Because they only said it on Discord, they can easily reverse it. Your own point works against itself. Because people don't stock Discord, if they change their mind, it's not a big deal. You get me? So you're saying we should pressure them into walking back a decision. Not pressure them, just talk about it. Don't be assholes. YouTubers consider Discord to be legally binding. That's funny. But enough people need to complain for them to care enough to change. Look at every other walk back. It takes a village. It doesn't take a village. Sometimes it's just feedback. Unfortunately, people do exactly what you're saying right now. Is that they correlate. Correlation is not equal causation. Just because a lot of people review bombed doesn't mean it was changed because of the review bomb. Right? Because there's many things that weren't review bombed that got changed. Reverted. Changed back. Changed over time. Sometimes, like, feedback was given and then it wasn't changed for a couple months because they were working on other things. That's happened a lot as far as player balance in terms of weapons. Look at the tank. Turrets. Certain enemies. Things get changed all the time in HC2. And it didn't have to be a review bomb. And it doesn't need to be a whole village. But it's easy to correlate, right, a change being because of that, because we have like situations like the PS5 thing, right? But the drama YouTubers will make you believe that the only reason it got changed was because of the review bomb. Maybe, Padru. Maybe. You probably as we speak. Oh yeah. Dumbest thing PlayStation I think has done basically ever. Forcing people to have a PlayStation account or else you lose access to the game. Crazy. Crazy. So dumb. But it was also one of the most frustrating times because people were making it seem like they just, you know, they wanted to hack you. They wanted to steal all your information and so on and so forth. It's just like we don't like the idea of it because people are losing part of the game. Why do you guys gotta make a you're bringing up points that don't matter or are just like sensationalized because of like other fears, like tinfoil hat fears. It's not about the reviews, it's about sending a message. Most changes do come from the community outcry though. Once again, correlation is not equal causation. Providing feedback does not equal outcry. There are plenty of things that get changed just due to people providing feedback in the forum or in the review process, or just talking about it, or from content creators talking about it. It doesn't have to be outcry. People don't have to bitch and moan on the internet to get things to change. I heard changes things all the time. I feel like I shouldn't have to keep saying correlation does not equal causation. Some very small changes happen. Like that thought process is why I don't like gaming communities nowadays, cosmetic. Because people feel like they have to complain incessantly in order to do this. Because that's what leads to hyperbolism. You know, people feel like they have to make a huge deal out of something and in order to get anything that they want changed. When in reality, sometimes it's just personal preference. And it's just like people providing feedback. And then people making a bigger deal out of things that actually don't really matter that much. Or there's like a counter to it, but because the people that actually like it aren't fighting with the people online that are making a huge deal out of it, the thing gets changed, even though it might have been a more equal split than you realize, right? So the idea that you need to make a big deal out of everything you don't like in a video game is so bad for gaming, it's ridiculous. Provide feedback. If there's enough feedback in that direction, the devs will change because they listen. But the problem is that when people feel like they need to make a big, like a mountain out of a molehill, things get changed that might not have needed to be changed. People that, like, devs essentially just get bullied into changing things. That happens a lot. It's essentially like gaming. It's like gamers' version of cancel culture. I believe sometimes it's warranted. Sure, like with things like the PlayStation event, yeah, absolutely. But the problem is that so often people think it's necessary. Like more recently with the like with the mechs. No. People are just being ridiculous. Provide feedback. Ask for more ammo rewards and stuff like that. But the constant outcry that Helldivers is like in the worst position it's ever been, or like, you know, this change completely ruins Helldivers, like so much hyperbolic stuff. Like so rarely does Helldivers like feedback actually meet what actually is maybe happening in game. People make such big deals out of the smallest things. Like, even with this FRV thing, it's not that big of a deal. I've already seen gameplay for it here. Welcome back. Gaming is such an odd place right now as well. Not even sure what needs to change first. You said it right in your last one, where it's just a video game, take a deep breath. It's so true. And I'm usually not a huge fan of like gamer, you need to go touch some grass, but it's like, it is true, right? Like some people over exaggerate problems in games just because they're like not putting into perspective about what is actually going on, right? They need to step back, and it's not about like, oh, you need to go outside and stop playing video games, but it's more just like, you know, chill. A more recent example, Cosmic, was the Hive Guard change. I personally missed the Hive Guards being higher pen. It wasn't a perfect change because obviously some things got disproportionately affected by it, but I do think it was something that they could just address. I liked it. But, you know, there was so much whining about it. Even before people got to even play it, that I was just like, oh, man. And I had so many people that came in my chat and like, hey, I read the patch notes. I didn't think I'd like it. Because even I, like, when I read the patch notes, I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. But it ended up impressing me and surprising me. And, like, I think it's a good idea for them to, like, want to experiment. But, you know, them getting, like, essentially the equivalent of, like, extreme hate mail from, like, 10 different YouTubers because they decided to change something that maybe they don't agree with will not make them want to experiment very much. I'll play it safe. A little chaff book had the same armor as our tank. They had the same armor as this tank. Right? Same species. Only had it in the front, and you could shoot the weak point. The next... do you hate the Devastator as well, Something Amazing Gaming? Think about it. Do you also hate the Devastator on the bot faction? It has the same armor as your tank. What's your point? Like, people just love to complain because it's a change, but it's like, in actuality, it actually does make sense. And it didn't make the enemy harder to kill. It actually made the enemy easier to kill if you had good aim. Because it rewarded you for hitting the weak point. Considering I shoot heads on bot front, my problem. So what was the problem with the Hive Guard? Because it actually made Hive Guards easier to kill. So what's your point? So you must have loved the change then. Because it was the same thing with the Hive Guard. They were actually easier to kill because their overall health went down. So if you hit the weak point, they died faster than before. And it rewards you for hitting the weak point. If you didn't, you get around. You know? Like the only thing I really, you know, found that I didn't really like was that a lot of medium pen turrets and guard dogs obviously got a nerf because of it. But it's something they could have adjusted. Like, made the guard dogs and turrets aim lower on those particular enemies, or just not want to shoot them. You know? That's something they could just change. Reverting it just because of those, I think, is like an over-exaggeration. I do hope that it comes back, like Badger's saying, and it comes back as maybe like a faction. Or part of the faction. Because I liked it. Should be less. I don't want to have the number of armored enemies that we have. I'm just gonna move on. I don't think Amazing Game is really listening. I know you're responding to Carl, but I don't think you're listening to what you're saying and how it's contradictory. To be fair, sentries and guard dogs will target chargers and hulks. They do. But unfortunately, there's so many more hive guards, so it made more of an impact. What up, Junkie? Do you think the laser cannon needs a buff? No. Maybe one day. Because I'm sure they'll buff other things. But, no. On a normal or cold planet, feels fun. But, in the nature of how HG2 goes, it'll eventually need it. They don't spawn that many. Have you seen any Hive Guard in this mission so far? It depends on the variant you get. Sometimes you get a variant of nothing but Hive Guards, and it can be harder to kill. But how many Hive Guard have I killed this mission? I think I've seen like 2. You know? It's a variant thing. There is a variant that has just a lot of Hive Guard spawn. But at the same time, you don't have to kill every single one of them. Because they're Hive Guards, they're defending something. They won't chase you very fast. So you could just ignore them. Or flank them. But like I said, Hive Guards were easier to kill with the change rather than before. Right? The change made them easier to kill, not harder. But people think it was harder just because the number of armor went up. But your explosive crossbow or your grenade launcher literally killed them better than before because they had less overall HP. Like, on paper, it sounded like a bad change. But in actuality, the Hive Guard became a more interesting enemy and genuinely became less annoying to deal with. The only way it became more annoying is if you were too stubborn to aim at the weak point. And then that's why I brought up the Heavy Devastator earlier, is because, like, you know, with that thought process of hating the Hive Guard, you must also hate the Heavy Devastator. Because it's the exact same type of enemy, but if anything, harder, because they actually shoot you. Versus the Hive Guardian, which just fucking sits there. It's not fast. It's not very threatening at all. And the weak point is easier to hit than the Devastators. Exactly, Rain. You could just set them on fire with so many different weapons. You could just use explosive damage and just ignore the armor. You could have a precision weapon, just hit the weak point, and they died really fast. Like, the Hive Guardian situation made me realize that a lot of people are way too quick to judge or just listen to a popular opinion and then not actually form their own. I already knew people did that, but it was very clear to me that a lot of people did not give it any time or thought and just were very quick to judge. Going back to laser cannon though, nah, the laser cannon has more than enough damage. Lights enemies on fire. The only way the laser cannon feels bad is if you're deciding to only use the laser cannon all mission, right? My point was more towards leaning. It made no sense that a tiny bug had the same armor. Why can't a tiny bug have the same armor? Only in one spot. It's literally the same faction as the Charger. They're not as fast as other bugs. Like, if we're really doing this right now, I'll do it with you. It's a smaller bug. It doesn't move nearly as fast as other bugs that have no armor. So it makes sense from that fundamental standpoint. Right? It only has it in the front, nowhere else. Right? So it wouldn't weigh that much. So what's your point? Something amazing. Like, I feel like you're trying to make these points, but you're not realizing that inside, like, there's, like, proper reasoning for it. It's not like they're, like, some super fast bug and they're armored all over like a charger. So they need to be a bigger, you know, life form to be able to support it. No. It's a small life form, doesn't hop, very slow, armored in only one spot. I don't see the problem. It's the reason why they have medium pen in the first place versus like a hunter, which only has, you know, light. Like with that same logic, like why does a Devastator get to have a pen 4 shield the same as our tank? It's such a small robot. Why does the, you know, Rocket Strider get to have pen 4 armor? It's just a small walker. But at the end of the day, the argument doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's like, it's just a video game. When does Halo release on Game Pass? I think it's already out, Longwood. I think it was only 5 days. Hasn't it already been 5 days? One is shit and the other one's metal. Oh, so Shin weighs less. Oh, so it's easier for a life form like, you know, Hive Guard to wear it, right? Makes sense. Showing up on the app, I'll check again. Yeah, it should be 5 days, Longwood. I don't know how long it's been. So the person that was asking about the laser cannon, though, when I've had conversations with the devs, it's just a difficult weapon to balance because at the end of the day, it's infinite ammo. Doesn't need a resupply, and, you know, also lights enemies on fire, which is a really good status effect. So if they give it too much more upfront damage, as well as lighting things on fire and having infinite ammo, it could be something that like power scales out of like the realm of balance, and then everybody's just using it and no one wants to use anything else because it's like, why would you? Why don't you use the infinite ammo weapon? That problem happened with the, if you remember the arc thrower when the game first came out. The arc thrower became like the de facto weapon to use for like a month. Because it had infinite ammo, pen 5, add clearing capabilities, you know, the ability to stun things. It did everything with infinite ammo, so you gotta be careful with like infinite ammo weapons. They kind of go crazy. I think they've hit a good spot. I could easily see the laser cannon become like worse though, if you know, they buff other weapons a lot, right? And I'm sure it'll eventually happen. It's just, you know, when. What if they made pen 5 unsafe? I've said before that I'd love to have that. That'd be cool. Maybe a new weapon. It's 11 a.m. EST today. Oh, okay. So coming out in a couple hours. There you go. Fair enough. Yeah. I hope we see the Hive Guards again. I miss them. I didn't think I'd like them, but they were fun. Yeah, the dagger and scythe were very good at killing them. We'll see what lasers we get with the Warbond. Yeah, it's true. Every weapon should do infinite damage. Perfect balance. I do think the laser cannon's in an okay spot now. Or Hive Guards removed? No. They just changed Hive Guards a little while ago, and it was really poorly received, so they reverted it very quickly. But I personally believe a lot of the poor reception was due to people reacting rather than trying something else out. More like, if you don't know what happened, think of the Hive Guards turning into more of like a Devastator. They're kind of like heavy Devastators in terms of they can tank, but they couldn't shoot anything. They were just tankier because they had more armor. That's all. But they made the rest of the health pool lower to compensate. Anyone else having a BF6 bug where the gun randomly changes to single fire mode on respawn? No, I didn't have that issue. Make sure to check if it's not like double bound or something like that, KMAG, or something you're pressing is accidentally pressing it. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a new bug that recently came in because of a hotfix. But when I was playing, no, I didn't see that. Check out the SM2 update? Nah. I wasn't really feeling like it. I haven't been feeling like playing SM2 for a while now. Kind of on the back burner for me.
Get in.
Thank you. I missed the beeping. It's not that big. Yeah, it's just like the new, just a new enemy, right? And the heroic enemy? Or heroic weapons and the boss. That's it. I'm sure there's some cool heroic weapons. Every time I come back, there's always some cool ones to unlock. Did it release? Nice. This is what I was talking about earlier. They told us about this.
The Ministry of Truth presents the Front Lines of Freedom. Another win for democracy. Following a successful democratic process, orbital construction of the socialist superweapon has ceased. And Super Earth security reaches historic new levels. With the TCS declared a resounding success.
Personally, no Blue Potato, but I know lots of people who do.
Around the throat of Terminid tyranny. To further contain the fascist threat, Helldivers will push the perimeter deeper into bug territory, creating an even safer democratic quarantine zone. To celebrate this permanent enclosure, participating citizens will receive a special limited-time patriotic incentive. Of course, the only way to obtain this incentive is to enlist today and join us on the Front Lines of Freedom.
Lovely double audio. What do you mean double audio? Oh, because of the music? I paused it. It's super weird. I don't know why I started playing again. I literally paused it. Ah, whatever. TCS won't backfire. I literally paused it and it started playing again. I don't know why. It's buggy. Yeah, so I knew that trailer was coming out because they sent it to us yesterday. And they said 8. I didn't realize the MO would come out before it. It's super awkward when they do that. I thought the MO would come out at 8. So that's why I was a little surprised that it came out early. Anyways. They don't do that anymore? Don't do what anymore? The trailers? We've done a couple recently. They did one for the hyena more recently. Just like a couple weeks ago. They usually just do them for the bigger major orders. But I think now that we have campaigns rather than just major orders, they're showing it to us. They showed it to you early? Just part of the content creator program? When are they adding pals? Hopefully soon, Reese. Reese, have you played it yet? Or are you still being a stubborn goose? Reese, you would love that game. Ah, you're so annoying. You would fucking love Power World. It's so fucking arc. I like the campaigns are getting trailers. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I don't need a campaign for every single one, but it's good. It's cool. Eagle, what is Jet Dragon? What up, Inquisitor? Yeah, we're back. For some reason, Blank only got 2 hours of sleep, so we didn't do the bonus missions, but it's whatever. I didn't really care to do the bonus missions in Halo, just because the perception of them was pretty poor, so I was like, ah, whatever. I'll just do them off stream if I care to. Yeah, we did all the main story. Yeah. It was cool. I'm like happy I played it, but I have mixed feelings on the sense that like I kind of wish sounds like you're scared of the bonus missions. I don't know. I think if I didn't play through the Master Chief Collection a couple of years ago with a friend, I'd probably been more willing to do like a lasso run, get all the skulls, and you know, commit more time to it. But I finished the campaign, and I also kind of felt like, yeah, that's enough Halo for me. Damn, that was short. I might get the Game Pass to play with friends. I would definitely not buy the game. If I'm giving my honest feedback, don't buy Campaign Evolved. Don't do it. Waste of money. Absolutely. Wait, what the fuck? Everybody just left? The hell? I just realized I was alone. Mission's only been going on for like 2 minutes. Sorry, it was a little confusing. I thought it was fully built, but in the MMO they said we stopped construction. No, it was just under construction. It's kind of like, you know, in Star Wars. Same kind of thing. It looks kind of done, but we've halted construction. We haven't blown it up or anything, though. I started today? No, I just didn't turn it on, I'll be honest, when we were playing Halo. I meant to, but... the hell? I swapped weapons. That happened to me 4 times today. One guy timed out, but I can't tell what happened to the other ones. One guy just left after dying immediately. One guy just didn't even land. He just left the mission before he even started. So. Just a classic HD2 moment, I guess. Should have thought of that. Makes sense. I don't blame you though. I'll be honest. I also thought the Death Star was like operational to some extent. So I don't blame you. But I also don't really pay attention to the story much in HD2 anymore. I have put a lot less time into understanding what's happening. Helipod accident, yeah. I guess so. Dude, brain, please. So they left pretty close together. The guy timing out definitely left really close to the guy that left. So, yeah, not sure about that. It doesn't seem like anyone's joining, and I don't really want to solo this. I don't want to solo. I don't want to have to try that hard. Not interested. No, thank you. Closing all my missions. I thought it was my internet, but I don't know. Spooky. Maybe some weird internet outages. I haven't had any issues today, I don't think. MO squids? No, it's bugs. We need an exclamation mark SOS command in chat so all your tier 3s come in like Power Rangers. Call in the Avengers. Oh. Man, I've been loving using the Giga Grenade. Ooh. Call them your DSS, the Store Squad. What the hell? They're like the bougie squad, dude. Bougie. Chad, I think I have a problem though. I think I'm addicted to Deadlock. Like, I've been playing it for a couple months, but I kind of keep wanting to play it. You know what I mean? I'm addicted. Like, even when I have like a bad day of Deadlock, I want to play it the next day. I have like League addiction, but with Deadlock. I really like Deadlock. It's infuriating sometimes, but I definitely have way more good moments than bad. Deadlock is like Dota 2. I mean, apparently it's made by the same guy. Ice Frog, whatever the fuck his name is just Yoshi under a different alias. Which is kind of smart, by the way, to go under like a different alias. Because people would have such like weird expectations, and also they'd have like a weird like, why did you leave Dota kind of mentality. So by going under like a new alias, it kind of avoids a lot of that, as long as people don't figure it out. So pretty smart, not gonna lie. Ooh, oh my god, that guy should have killed me. Didn't hear him coming. So I was firing off all those grenades. Yeah, I think I have like 300 something hours in Deadlock now. And I kind of don't want to stop playing. I'd say I'm getting pretty damn good at it too, which is fun. Because as someone who's been playing video games for the last like 25 years, most games that I start to play, I'm usually pretty good at, pretty fast, right? Because I've kind of played that game before. But like Deadlock was just such a new game to me that I was actually like pretty ass when I started. But like I can really feel my like, you know, ability of like how to play it, like getting better, and it's just very satisfying. Cause dude, bear in mind, I have not played much like MOBAs. Like I have like less than 100 hours in League and like, you know, maybe 10 to 20 hours in Dota. Bro. Just die. Weird flex. Hey, man. It is what it is. I'm sure you're very good at fucking card games because you've been playing card games all your fucking life with Slay the Spire, right? Like, hey, it's the same thing. When I play shooters, there's kind of like an expectation in my head that I'll be good at it, right? Because I played so many shooters over the years. Oh, hell no, I'm ass. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Carl. My bad, never mind. Well, when you go play a card game, you have the expectation that you're ass at it. Waboo! Thank you for the tier 3, dog. Welcome back. Bile Jam. Appreciate you, buddy. How are you? Thank you for the support. Thank you for the +6 points for the partner plus. Means a lot. Thank you. Still trying to work towards that. Thank you, buddy. Hope you've been well. I get good, but then I plateau. Well, you haven't plateaued in Helldivers because you're God. Did we get the helmet? We did. I'm wearing it right now. Don't fucking... Helmets had stat passives. I'm still kind of expecting it to be fair one day that we might get that. Missed opportunity. Seems like it was just out of their reach or scope when the game first came out, because they talked about wanting to do it, but it just didn't fit into their game plan. I could see them probably one day do it though. But that being said, I hope they don't do it without adding some kind of customization, because right now we only have 2 forms of customization that don't actually affect gameplay. Or technically more than that, but like actually like you see in game, right? And if they made helmets have stats, well, that would be one less form of customization we have without affecting gameplay. So I don't want them to just add it blanketly. I would want them to add it in conjunction with, you know, some form of transmog or at least recoloring of our suits. I didn't finish it. Add rebosses already, Arrowhead. They should hire the Bungie's devs. Arc Armor's customization is cool. Yeah, but the problem is that you can't really compare it because, well, it doesn't like affect gameplay, right? What you wear in Arc Raiders has no bearing on how like your character like performs, moves, anything. But it does in HD2, so there has to be some kind of continuity between like the way it looks and the way it performs. And that's important to Helldivers, which is it's fair. I can't blame them. I don't know what the hell's happening over there, but my frames are dropping when I look in that direction. Give me looks maxing. I mean, that's where mods come in, though. Meaning, you know? You could just download mods and you can do whatever you want to your game. Now they need like Borderlands 2 style raid bosses. Destiny raids require teamwork, and these HD players hate that shit. You listen to me rant too much, Revo, or not Revo, Reese. I've seen the Reddit. I look for the Maplewood hate posts on there. I think I've only ever received like one. And it was like, it was the duality of content creators. And it was me doing my tier list at the very start and saying like, you know, putting my weapons based on the scale that it's in front of me, right? And then I think it was like Odo's tier list, and it was like basically everything was like D tier other than a couple weapons. And I like more or less like evenly spread them out, you know, looking like a pyramid like it should. So I think that was the only time there was like actually a hate thread about me. Missed opportunity or blessing? I think it's more of a missed opportunity. It's a weird one because like it's a missed opportunity because obviously it brings a lot of people and a lot more attention to your channel if people hate you, right? All publicity is good publicity technically. Not in all situations, but you got to capitalize on it. Wait, what were they hitting on? Your TOS is bad? No, it's just like at that point in time, there was two sides to the HG2 community. Well, I mean, there still is. Where some people believe that everything we had was too weak, so they put the majority of the stuff on the tier list at the bottom. Where I was having a more balanced approach on it, where I felt like some things were really, really good and some things were really bad, but a lot of things maintain this like middle mediocrity, right? But people would shit on my tier list when they saw that because they were like, how dare you put this dog shit weapon in that category, right? It's that kind of stuff. I wasn't as extreme as like another content creator in my like hatred of mid-tier weapons. Basically, if every weapon didn't perform like the breaker shotgun like it was at release because it was, you know, really fucking OP versus everything else, it was D tier, right? More or less, that's how people looked at it, and people didn't like the tier list for that reason. On Reddit. Obviously, it got a lot of views elsewhere, and people didn't really disagree with me nearly as much, so... He's either S tier or terrible in my eyes. Yeah. I mean, some people look at tier lists that way. I try to have a more nuanced look at it, and I like that. But, yeah. Reese, you're an absolute meta chaser. Absolutely. The amount of times Reese has looked at my loadout and been like, what the fuck why are you using that? Pretty high. Pretty high, dude. But that's the good, like, contrast between Reese and I, yeah? Philosophically, if every weapon is in D tier, they're also A tier. The problem is that not every weapon was D tier because there were some outliers that were very good, right? The breaker shotgun, the scorcher. So a lot of the tier list was dictated based on that. People saw those weapons and thought every weapon should be like that, and any weapon that wasn't as powerful as those two weapons was D tier. Where I was looking at it more like these weapons are technically overtuned and these weapons are technically undertuned, and then the baseline is like these weapons, because there was a lot of weapons that felt very similar to one another in the middle, but people just felt like those middle grounds should be lower because they want to communicate their disdain for how weak they are. People were making more of like a statement with their tier lists, I think, more so than like objective tier lists. And I like to have more of an objective standpoint on tier lists. At least I try to. Rather than, you know, trying to make a statement. Reddit is cancer, but it's okay for help. I think it depends on where you go on Reddit. I don't know. I think most of Reddit is fine. you know. It's just there's a lot of Reddit that is very loud, and it makes you think it's the majority. I don't think the majority of Reddit is that bad, personally. Fan of objective, not personal taste. I'm both. But I try to lean to more of an objective truth about a tier list. Because, like, I should be trying to remove my personal bias as much as possible when I'm talking about these weapons, right? It's a good thing Arrowhead didn't let those people dictate the weapon balance. I've learned to accept the way weapon balancing went. I still have my qualms, but I've accepted it. More people wanted that than what I wanted. Most? Yeah, I think most of Reddit is fine. I'm not specifically saying about gaming. Gaming subreddits a lot of times suck, but if you go to elsewhere, like most of Reddit is not like gaming subreddits. Like going to a gaming subreddit or political subreddits, absolute hell. But if you go to like r/beams, you know, it's very different. r/home improvement, you know, it's as long as you don't bring video games into it or like politics, Reddit's fine. But the problem is that like politics seeps its way into like everywhere, and like gaming is so like hyperbolic that kind of crazy. On Reddit, it's all about echo chambers. I think it's the karma system, personally. I think the karma system on Reddit leads to more people posting dumb shit. Rage baiting or just karma farming. The gamification of Reddit was a problem. It's kind of like the same way as like Twitter got worse when they added monetization, right? Twitter nowadays is a cesspool of people rage baiting and engagement farming. I don't think China owning it has anything to do with Reddit. Unless you just hate China. I saw some like cybersecurity report that estimates 25% of Reddit comments are bots. I've seen that in general on the internet. Twitter has a lot. YouTube has a lot. Reddit has a lot. Discord has a lot. I think 25% is also lowballing. A lot of scam phishing and stuff like that. But hey, I just look at it as like, at least Reddit hasn't turned into Twitter. I used to like going on Twitter. I can't stand it for more than a couple of minutes nowadays. It's bad. And I think the main thing is like just monetization. I like monetization on Twitter was a huge mistake. Giving people money based on how many impressions you got on your post was a really bad idea. Especially since there's like way less controls to like downvote bad things or avoid bad things with the way like Twitter works. Like on YouTube, like bad videos and stuff like that, or bad content creators, or just like engagement farming stuff, has a harder time existing. It exists, like there's like Asmongold and stuff like that, right? That are just engagement grifters, right? But there's a lot less of it that tends to do super well. But on Twitter, it's like so much more like low effort. Just people rage baiting one another. YouTube has its own problems, but yeah, I don't see it nearly as bad as Twitter. Oof, Twitter. Oof. This is such a good song. If you've never played Cyberpunk, like the DLC, highly recommend. Song game, it plays at the very end. It might play earlier in Cyberpunk's DLC. Maybe I just don't remember it, but not as bad as Reddit. I don't think Reddit is nearly as bad as Twitter. I think GTA 6 Online will need age verification. We talked about this like earlier when, or not like earlier today, but like when Discord needed a ID. As long as the ID is collected or like verified without needing to be saved and so on and so forth, I'm fine with it. It's just, it's like how they do it. Personally, I don't like people being anonymous on the internet. Like super anonymous. Leads to a lot of nefarious things. The issue is companies scrub. Absolutely. That's why I said, like, it needs to be done properly, but will it be done properly is the question. Depends on the online servers. There's no reason to be anonymous on social media. Yeah. Like, should I have to age verify for, like, Netflix? That's stupid. I mean, unless all of a sudden Netflix started doing, like, adult content, maybe, I guess. It doesn't, so like, what's the big deal? The FBI will be knocking on your door, Carl. I can't stop them all! Stupid laser weapon! Yeah, come hit me, come hit me! Aw, it was only 2%. That sucks. No, Omni, I disagree with that. It isn't that hard, or sorry, it isn't that easy to, you know, protect kids. And then from like a company standpoint, they don't want to be like on the foot, right? Especially with like how America works, where like something goes wrong, you always just sue, right? The liability is insane. Cause like look at like when we talk about this, we usually talk about Roblox. Roblox is on the hook for everything that's happened in Roblox. Roblox gets negatively affected big time because everybody just thinks it's the pedo platform, right? So they obviously want to do something to correct that. And they can't just say, well, parents need to do better at preventing their kids from interacting with adults on the internet, right? Because obviously there's a lot of kids out there that are not going to listen to their parents, or they're going to get around their parents. I highly doubt that you listen to everything your parents told you. You know? So it's in their best interest to do something, right? Parents do need to be better at. I'm not disagreeing with that, but like you can't just only put it on the parents, right? It's like we're requiring a license to, or like ID for like buying alcohol, you know, or weed, or, you know, pharmaceuticals or anything, right? Because technically you can make the same argument. Well, why do we need ID verification to buy alcohol? Why can't, you know, you just teach your kids not to want to drink it, right? Like, or why do we need a driver's license in the first place? We should just be teaching our kids to not want to drive unless they, you know, are trained to. You know what I mean? Like, there's checks and balances. Unfortunately, I think that's always been a thing, Hans. But there's ways to get around those parental controls on a phone. Omni, it doesn't work as well as you think it does. People get around it super easily. Like, I remember being in school and getting around all the locks that they put on websites. Like, and I was a fucking kid. Kids have fucking AI nowadays, dude. I didn't even have that. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be what you're saying, but you know, as long as like they do the collection of data properly and they don't actually collect anything, it's fine. Like, it's one of those things that they actually just check it, verify it, and then delete it. Problem is that there's very little to no trust that they're actually going to do that, which is where the problem is. You somehow need to build trust so people don't think you're just going to do that. That's very difficult. Hell, people didn't even want to make a fucking PlayStation account, even though you could just lie about everything. Because they didn't actually verify anything. Difficult if not impossible. Yeah, there's a lot of mistrust nowadays. Rightfully so. But in the case of like, for like Discord, I didn't see it as a big problem because it was literally an optional thing. And it was only if you wanted to see mature content. Right? It didn't stop you from using the platform. At least that was my understanding of it. And it's like, I don't go on Discord to look at mature content, like porn and shit. So it's like, I wouldn't put my ID in and I wouldn't feel like I need to, you know? But at the same time, I don't think kids should be on social media. Like, banning kids from being on social media, I think is a good thing for society. You know? It's like, how do you pass that law or pass that? And then, like, how do you stop people? You know? Because obviously it's going to be on the company's end if obviously they allow it, right? Absolutely, Veldrick. There needs to be proper laws in place to stop people from data or companies from data harvesting. And that would hopefully, especially EU, look at you Europeans, get on it. You guys are good at that kind of shit. You know? Proper legislation to stop them from like doing it and like checking in to make sure they're not doing it. For sure, Veldrick, yeah. Yeah. I'll upload my government ID to any site if I could be certain would keep it from, yeah, I agree. Why can't the government be responsible for validating someone as they already have all the information? Well, it's a lot to be putting on the government. People don't know. Depending on where you are in the world, not everybody trusts the government to do that. There is untrustworthy governments out there. People just put tinfoil hats on Hans, and it will never. It doesn't go super well. Because it does matter if you trust them or not, right? Because people won't support it if they don't trust it. Governments are weaker than big players in corp. They have a lot of power. Now, the pragmatic side of me is like, they already have your ID. The government already has it, right? It's just, do you trust your government to not give your ID and let them keep it to a corporation, right? Because obviously, at the end of the day, the government already knows who you are, or else you wouldn't be a citizen, right? I think it's more the issue of government to corporation and how's that linked? What kind of, you know, what kind of interaction do they have? Are they biased? Are they corrupt? Would the rules or regulations not properly apply to them? You know? I trust any government more than a nice corporation. Yeah, I feel like you should probably take back the any and say most. let's just swap out the any and most. And I think you made a pretty reasonable statement. Because dude, because I mean there's some governments out there that I'd be like very surprised if you trusted them more than a corporation. But I understand your point. A lot of corporations are purely there for the money, and if they can make money off of your information, they will. But it's a sliding scale, right? Exactly, Hans, right? If you lived in a country where you couldn't trust your government, you'd be way more, you know, tinfoil hat about the whole thing. I also think some people just like being anonymous on the internet so they can be shitheads and have no repercussions. Like, do nefarious things. Why do you call people out like that? Shut my government, non-American by the way, enough to tell the website, yeah, that guy's an adult without selling me data. I agree. Same here. Non-American. Some people are very, very protective of their personal information. Mm-hmm. Very. And I can't blame them. I understand. Distrust. It's sewed in through generations and such like that, but... Sometimes I think the distrust is a bit misplaced. It's more like indoctrinated mistrust sometimes. I'm a little pissed that Steam needs age verification when my account is 18 years old. Technically, you could give that account to someone else, and they need to verify for, what's it called? To cover their own ass. Right, Veldrick? Or, I don't know how to call him Veldrick. Veldrunk. Anyways. It's to cover their own ass. Because they're on the hook at the end of the day. Because what you're saying does make a lot of sense, but they need to make sure. You got it right, Veldrick. Why did I feel like I was saying it wrong? I don't know. Anyways. Oh, I agree with Lulu. It's similar to, like, you know, people's hatred for certain groups of people, right? Racism and stuff like that. It's something that's taught. It's not something that you inherently just pick up on, right? Because you'll meet good or bad people of any race or nationality, right? You're taught from a young age to like or dislike a group more or less. Tribalism. Absolutely. Bad interactions can also instill distrust, right? But you just hope that a more reasonable individual will hopefully understand that it was just per chance you had a bad interaction. But not everybody's that reasonable. Defense missions are always good if you need time to talk. That's actually why I picked this mission and I didn't back out, Carl. We as humans are very impressionable. I was born a racist. This is a joke. Tribalism is more deeply ingrained than that. Well, I mean, I don't think it's like, you know, a nature for. I don't think it's something that's like in nature you are racist. I don't think so. I mean, maybe there could be more tendencies, like you're more prone to it based on like certain chemistry, but I don't think it's like an inherent thing. Like maybe someone who's like a more aggressive individual based on genetics might be more prone to it, but inherently I don't think that would make you racist. You know? What up, Carp? So far, this conversation that should have gone poorly has gone pretty well. Everybody's being a level-headed, you know, individual. I don't know how we're able to manage that, but can everybody just take a quick, like, pat on the back? Do you know how many times I've tried to have a conversation like that and it's always gone poorly? because someone like goes super hyperbolic. Holy shit. Congratulations, everybody. There's always someone who like goes hyperbolic and then it like it derails the conversation so big and it's just like fucked. We can't actually have a conversation anymore. Because it just opens the door for people to go freak out. I'm tempted. So congratulations, everybody. That's fucking sick. I've been streaming for fucking 7 years and I never had that happen. From like, we've never gone more than like fucking 10 or 20 minutes without it happening. Tribalism doesn't have to be racism. Oh, absolutely. Look at PlayStation versus Xbox. It's just, you know, wanting to be part of a group. You know? And defending your group versus the other group. You're part of something. We talked about this, I think it was like last week or something like that. I think the internet has become more tribalistic as people have become less social, like IRL. Because people are longing to have a connection with other people. You know? So, I think that does happen inherently more now. Because people are more chronically online. So they find these groups online that are usually very hyperbolic. I don't think it always goes well, obviously. Ubisoft needs to die as a gaming community, though. Jesus Christ. See, he did it. Carl, we're on such a good streak. All populations, even communism or socialism, work just depends on the... I mean, most people look at communism or socialism, but they're not actually communism or socialism. Most people who think about communism think of totalitarian communism, rather than actually just communism. I'm no communist. I don't want to live in a communist society. I'm just saying that most people that think about communism just think of Stalin or Mao Zedong or something like that. That's not actually communism, technically. It's totalitarianism. Slathered with some communistic values. It was just a means to an end of controlling a population. Apparently there was a Far Cry extraction shooter, since you guys are talking about Ubisoft. Apparently there was a Far Cry extraction shooter that got canceled. Probably a good thing. And then now they are transitioning it into a, what was the word used? An ambitious Far Cry project. Whatever that means. Make an Assassin's Creed extraction shooter. I would feel bad about all the people that lose their jobs under Ubisoft, though. Because Ubisoft employs a lot of people worldwide. Like, a fuckload. There's a lot of Ubisoft people that are just working on shit. Like, those stupid-ass skins in video games does, you know, pay for someone's job. The board members and CEO are dumb as fuck. Oh yeah, the leadership. Hey, it's the same thing as we just talked about with Bungie. Poor leadership. Poor leadership is the bane of the existence of gaming companies. To focus on following trends, wanting to hyper monetize, yada yada yada. Investors, yeah. Gaming becoming successful is both a great thing and a bad thing for gaming, because it means there's more money sloshing around for people to abuse, you know? But also, it's good because there's more investment for the projects that actually are good, right? It kind of has a cause and effect. Worst spot on combo, I agree with Floppy, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Justice for... Yeah, Teo hasn't been here today. I don't know where that guy is. Him and Claw supposed to be meeting up. They're using AI to see customer sentiment for their game, and AI is just pleasing them. We already said don't jinx it. I miss Teo. Hi, Teo. See? Teo is like Beetlejuice. If you mention him enough times, he shows up. It's the same with Kloss. If I mention Kloss enough times, he just shows up. They're the same people. I gotta or like a memo. Dude, I'm actually gonna watch that. Maybe in like a week or two when the theaters kind of clear out. I'm gonna go watch Odyssey in IMAX. Chat, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Who's watched it? Don't you dare give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you haven't watched it. I don't care. I want to know the people who watched it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It was dope. Hell yeah. Dude, I got like something in my eye. It's bothering me. It's like all watery. Thumbs down for lol, man. It was woke. The actors were awake most of the time. Middle. I haven't watched a single film this year. I haven't watched anything. Highly recommend, Carp, personally. Go watch Project Hail Mary. That is worth a watch this year. Because I know you're into sci-fi as well. You'd like it. It's good. It offended me? How did it offend you? Are you Greek? In my area, IMAX is still packed up. I bet. I bet. I haven't checked ticket sales. I just assume they're bad in Toronto, even though we have a lot of IMAX theaters. So. Oh, that's right. I guess you are Greek, aren't you, lawman? Yeah, no, I get that. Western interpretation of Greek mythology. Yeah, I get it. Or Greek history, technically. Hi, Chaos. How are you, buddy? Project Hail Mary fucked hard. I thought it was a good movie, man. I cried, I laughed, I enjoyed myself. And I'm not normally a crier in movies. Because I watch a lot of like romance heavy like tearjerker movies with Annie. Project Hail Mary got me, dude. It was good. Like, the way I put it is like, if you like Interstellar, if you like The Martian, right? It's somewhere in the middle, right? It kind of fits that like really cool niche in between those two films. How's your deadline going? I'm almost an Ascendant. I think me and Revo... I don't know where Revo's at. I think he's at like Oracle something, but I'm like at the tail end of Phantom. After that absolutely terrible loss streak, we've been climbing really... Like, I think it was like yesterday we went on a 7-win streak. It was great. And the only reason we lost our 7-win streak is because we got a duo in our game that literally fed. Like, they literally just ran down and fed and trolled the entire game. So. I found Project Hail Mary to be more believable than Interstellar. How so? Why did you find it more believable? I'm curious. Nolan film, of course, is dope, but the casting is just a bunch of hyped up right now actors. Yep. I mean, that was my fear going into Odyssey, and I'm pleasantly surprised that people like it. I don't know how the casting will go. Maybe it was well done. You know, but I do agree. The casting does not give me a lot of confidence in the Odyssey. But I do want to watch it. I'm literally the best. You're one of the worst deadlock coaches I could have ever asked for because you're so fucking annoying. Chaos doesn't know when to shut the hell up. Like, if you think I can't stop talking, you should hear him. It's like my, it's like my 50th game and he won't shut up about getting counterspell. He's like your, you know, your mother-in-law backseat gaming. Do you know what I mean? Chaos doesn't understand the idea of when you're a coach, you don't bother your student with things that they don't need to know yet. I wasn't there yet at that point in my journey in Deadlock, but he was like, no. Right? He has someone like 1,000+ hours, but he's like, it's like, let me put it in this HG2 terms for you guys. It'd be like talking to someone about supply lines in their first like 10 hours in Helldivers. You know, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. You start goated. Let me get the fundamentals down first. I don't have the brain capacity to worry about counterspell. Let me teach that guy dolphin kick, even though they can barely tread water in the deep end. You know what I mean? Like, the fuck? If you know swimming, you'll know that one, but... You're literally a gamer for work. You got the fun. Yeah, but I don't have the fundamentals of a MOBA. And I don't have the fundamentals of knowing what every character does, right? And what the timings are for counterspell, right? So the idea is that buy counterspell, but I don't know any of the timings, right? And yeah, you could argue, well, you'll learn them over time if you just force yourself to learn them. Sure, but if I just play the game in general and just like fundamentally like understand what characters do and how they interact with me, I'll have a better time using Counterspell in the future. Because I can commit that brain power to something that's more useful from like the fundamentals of like a MOBA, rather than worrying about the fucking timing on that one ability from that one character that I've only played against 3 times. Get what I'm saying, chat? Back me up here. Okay, I need to find this Stalker nest, bro. They are shitting them out of me right now. Skill issue, to be honest. Okay, fuck you. So, feeling a bit silly for asking, what are supply lines? Okay, so supply lines are what connect all the planets and Helldivers. And attacks can only happen through supply lines. So you can't, so basically like an attack can't ignore a supply line and just like jump, right? It always has to be connected, right? And why that's important in HE2 is understanding that you can do a gambit. And a gambit is what happens when like you attack the planet where the attack is coming from, rather than defending the planet where the attack is going. Warp line chain. Exactly. That's what a supply line is. Just basically different words. Same thing. Start with the basics, Jesus. Shut up, Chaos. But fun fact, I still don't even buy a Counterspell that often. I only buy it versus like certain champs. I think my most bought is probably still Dispel Magic. Is there another? Oh yeah, there was 2. That makes sense. What's the point of learning about supply lines? Nobody bothers to interrupt attacks. That one missed Hunter game put out a vid. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? You mean Mistfall? Like the new game? What's wrong with the narrator? What's your take on the new helmet? I don't even really care. It's Mad Max inspired. The guard dog's reflection's a bit off. It's screen space reflections, rather than using ray tracing or whatnot. It happens with all the third-person games. That's why they use ray tracing. Quintessential Chinese woman accent, and it's so heavy that I think it was a meme. Okay. I think it's a Hong Kong-based company, so way to be racist, bro. I think the helmet looks rather bad batch. I haven't really taken a close look at it, I'll be honest. I don't have a lot of ammo here. I think I just shot the guard dog. That's unfortunate. I think I clipped the guard dog. Speaking of graphics, I have a hot button question for you in chat. Is having low graphics settings that disables shadows, ultra low, potato mode, and shooters advantageous, and should it not exist? I think it depends on the game and how important seeing the shadows are. Like, I don't think it matters at all that in Quake Champions the shadows might not exist on like a potato mode, for instance, right? But if I'm playing like a mill sim where the gameplay is really slow and shadows might actually like contribute to a kill or not a kill, different. Because I think overall it kind of hurts the appearance of your game when the potato mode is like the competitive one, because then it means that all the competitive players are all going to be using it, so it makes your game look like dog shit. You know? Which I don't think is a good thing for anyone. It's a hotly debated topic in War Dogs. Yeah, I mean, if it turns off shadows... Like, most people probably won't give a shit and they'll just play it on, like, medium. But the hyper-competitive people... People are using it to sweat. So sorry, what side of are the devs on versus what side is the community? So people are turning off their shadows to get more FPS so they have more of a competitive advantage versus the devs. I mean, low settings, that's still a thing, lawman. There's still a lot of people out there that have potato computers, especially with how many people have gotten into gaming recently. Right? So a lot of people can't afford to upgrade their PCs because of how expensive parts are nowadays. Gaming graphics have continued to improve, whereas computers haven't really improved nearly as much. For competitive games. Well, it depends on the competitive game. War Dogs is a competitive game, it's just not an esport game. That's why it's probably hotly debated. The devs have it enabled for accessibility. So people can get good frame rates with the UE5 game, but people with juicier PCs are running it because it shows people that might normally be hidden harder to see. So players are complaining that they can't see people's shadows on those settings? Is that what I'm understanding? Am I understanding this correctly? And they're saying that people on higher end PCs have an advantage. Oh, it disables tree shadows. Bushes become less dense, easier. Oh. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they should update the low-end settings to make it harder to see. That's what some games do, is when you go into potato mode, they'll make a sprite that's really hard to see through to compensate for that situation. Arc Raiders basically tried to do that as well. because that's where like optimization meets graphics, right? There is such thing as too much optimization to the point where, especially in like a competitive game, it'll lead to weird situations where people actually have an advantage by turning down the graphics. Because the game is so optimized that it won't render things that need to be rendered in order for things to be fair. And then that's where I was talking about, where your game literally just looks like a potato game, because everybody that gives a shit that's going to be streaming it is probably going to turn down the graphics, and then your game just looks like a fucking joke. Because it looks dumb as hell. Yeah, I think the devs are in a very tough spot there, because if you don't make your game accessible to people on low-end hardware, people will complain incessantly and downvote your game and call it UE5 slop, right? If they can't run it on a 1080 Ti that's, you know, 10 years old, right? But obviously the opposite also happens, especially in a PvP game where the game has like a competitive advantage to turn into potato mode. I understand why it's hotly debated. Happened in PUBG and Fortnite, right? Not really. It was only in the most extreme situations, because at extreme distances, even in PUBG, when you were hiding in grass, you weren't actually hiding in grass. Because even in PUBG, it didn't render grass out that far. But it was like, if you were within like 100 meters and you're on potato graphics in PUBG, like, you would be more or less hidden depending on your opponent's like graphic settings. What they should do is something similar to Arc Raiders, where, you know, you more or less make your potato mode still obscure at distance. And then for the shadow situation, they need to add some kind of shadow that's like just very cheap. They need to find like a middle ground, basically, is what I'm saying. UE5 is a very expensive engine, even on the most modern iterations of it. So it's very expensive. And there's a lot of people out there that aren't in great financial situations, so they're running PCs that are 10 years old almost, right? They got 1080 Ti's or worse, right? And those people are going to be very upset when they can't play War Dogs. So if they have the minimum graphics too high, they can't play it, then they'll downvote the ever-living shit out of your game. I would probably play somewhere in the middle, because how the game looks to me is kind of important for immersion, and just, you know, if I'm looking at an image all day of a game, I don't want it to look like shit, right? But I'm in the fortunate situation where I could still get, you know, good graphics while having that, right? Kind of liked UE4, seemed like a good engine. I feel like the only time that people said that was at the end of UE4 though. Because UE4 had very similar problems to UE5. In a way. Hey, what up, Uncle Muggles? Yeah, I'm excited for Hell Let Loose as well. It was fun playing the beta. Shit is expensive. I agree. Like, gaming is very expensive right now because of how many people, you know, are buying PCs, but also RAM and all that. And then on top of that, graphics computing hasn't really gone much further because, you know, Moore's Law is over. So software is the big thing between graphics cards nowadays. not have any transistors. The UE5 was very much developed with the idea that Moore's Law was still alive and we'd keep doubling in performance, you know? But that wasn't the case. So UE5 came out at a really bad time. It took them a very long time to like optimize it all. But I have heard the same thing for UE6, is that they're going to take a lot more time to make sure it's optimized for hardware because of all the stagnation, which is good. This makes me sad I can't recommend friends buy or build PCs. Recommend them find used PCs. That's kind of like the meta right now. Used PCs, and then you may like buy a part or two. Is the way to go about it. Series 6 will be UE4 remastered? No, it'll still have like modern day tech, right? It'll just be more like it'll probably still have some form of lumen and everything, right? But it'll be more concentrated on like, you know, doing more with less. Trying to do more efficient ways of doing things that they currently do now, right? I'm personally iffy on users with electronics. Just, you have to make sure it's tested. If you can test it beforehand, that's the best way to go. But prior to me streaming and you know, paying for my upgrades through streaming, I bought a lot of used hardware. You can't if you're buying it online. You're taking a risk if you buy it online. That's why you might not want to actually do it online. Something you can do is you can go through like, you know, retailers like Amazon or Best Buy. So at least with their quote unquote refurbished pieces, you can get a refund if it doesn't work out, right? eBay has good return policy. I've heard it's pretty good. Yeah, I've never had to use it, but I heard it's pretty good. What SMG rifle do you have equipped? It's called the Reprimand. It's from the Truth Enforcers Warbond. You'd be kind of surprised how many like open box slash like refurbished pieces you can get off of Amazon and Best Buy and stuff like that. It's not that bad. And the return policy is like very lenient. I actually buy a lot of things from Best Buy open box. Some long range in that grenade. Hell yeah. Giga grenades, he needs a giga throw. That's Best Buy is their 2-week return policy. Personally, I don't have a problem because I've always just found the issue with my products from Best Buy. within 2 weeks, usually the day of. But if you're really worried about it, you can always buy at their extended warranties, which does kind of suck, but their extended warranties are very good. Like, I know quite a few friends that abuse the absolute shit out of Best Buy's extended warranties and get like full replacements for their gear a lot. But you have to definitely think in that mindset of wanting to utilize it. My sister is really lucky. She gets all of my hand-me-down gaming stuff. I will probably be giving her my computer when I'm done with it. Ow. No, my sister plays like a lot more like engaging stuff. Like a bunch of like the PlayStation stuff that's kind of PC she's playing. She plays a ton of Stellaris. Song Slap is a good song. She plays like Zoo Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon, the new ones. What? They're not tycoons, but you know what I mean, like the park builders. It also plays a Zoom Builder game. Hey man, don't hate. Those are great. I played them a lot when I was a kid. I know there's a new one coming out. I think I have it on my list. Yeah, Planet Zoo 2's coming out. Tell Aaron. It's literally your most played game on Steam. Nice. August is going to be a fun month. Not too long ago, I was thinking August was going to be boring as hell. But there's actually so much. We're going to remove this. I'm not going to play that game. But, like, Mistfall Hunter, going to be playing that. Hell Let Loose, Mortal Shell, possibly the World War I game. And then I'll probably remove Plague Tale. Honestly, I'm not going to play that. At some point, Alien Fireteam, whenever they list a date for it. I do need to play through the first game, though. I never played it, but I want to. And then September is going to be packed. A lot of cool games. Then October is going to be packed. And then we got GTA in November. There's nothing in December right now, I don't think, yet. People are gonna probably try and figure out how crazy GTA 6 is. Put in War Dogs. What are you doing? We don't know when War Dogs comes out. What the fuck's War Dogs? Tell me the date or when War Dogs comes out. Like, the reason why I have this here is, like, at least some of these games, they told us that it's coming out this month. I'm not putting, like, the 1.0 updates for, like, Valheim and stuff to play with Annie. I don't know if I'm going to stream them. Alpha is on August 7th to 9th. Just sign up easy. Ah, yeah. Good one. What's War Dogs? It's like Arma meets Battlefield, somewhere in the middle, but it's got like a money system instead of XP. But you spend money every loadout you go in. So by like capping an objective or killing an enemy or rezzing a teammate, you get money. And then you accumulate that money. When you pass away in game, you die. You then spend money on your next loadout. But the gameplay wise, it's somewhere in between Arma and Battlefield. It's not as arcadey as Battlefield, but it's not as arcadey or not as milsimmy as like Arma. So it's a cool game. I've been wanting to get into the betas and they just fucking hate me. I signed up in the partner content creator section, nothing. And I signed up in the main one like a long time ago, months ago, still nothing. So it's really annoying. So I'm in a very weird spot waiting for it to show up. Dude, the demo for Mortal Shell 2 was so good. Sidix, I loved it. I didn't like Mortal Shell 1. I played a little bit of it and I just kind of put it down after like 2 hours. I refunded it. It wasn't for me. But Mortal Shell 2's demo really impressed me. Is War Dogs like Squad? It's kind of like Squad. Yeah. Also, War Dogs is 30v30 or 33v30v3 versus 33. So it's like 3 teams fighting over one objective area. So it's not just 2 teams, which is also good. You said World War I game. It's this one right here. It kind of reminds me of Held Let Loose, but World War I. British attacking the Ottoman Empire. Q1 27's pack releases. Yeah, everybody's trying to avoid GTA 6 and not be in December. The music was very good in Mortal Shell 2. Yeah, I'll be grinding Mortal Shell 2. I'm very excited. Very excited to play it. I thought it was very fun. Very satisfying, very fun. It's definitely like a lower budget version of like an Elden Ring or something like that, but it feels good. It's World War I and kind of like Hell Let Loose. I don't know exactly if it's like it just reminded me of Hell Let Loose. I don't know how similar. I just put it on the list because someone was like, hey, you've been playing Hell Let Loose. You heard about this game? I'm taking a day off work for Control. I'm still iffy on Control. It's very melee focused, and I don't really want Control to be melee focused. I really liked Control 1. I just wanted it to be more. But I know going for a different direction or like something adjacent is good, so I hope it's good. But I'll be honest, since their last game, it's kind of scared me. Not Alan Wake 2, but the other one, Firebreak. Firebreak was just so bleh. I was so disappointed in Firebreak. Like, I don't know. Control 2 being so much more melee focused is kind of like a double-edged sword for me. I do like melee in games. I do. But I really liked Control 1. I don't know. Do you have your Steam profile set to public? That was an issue of people were having with War Dogs. I've always had it public. I never put it on private. How do I double check? But yeah, everything should be public. Double check for me, chat, but I'm pretty sure it's public. I thought you were going to talk shit about my boy Alan Wake. Dude, I own the game. Haven't played it. I own it on Epic. I got it on like a crazy sale for like 80% off because I had like one of those coupons that they give out for Christmas and it was on sale. So it was like a double whammy on sale. I just haven't played it. I've been meaning to, but I just haven't done it. It's on the backlog. Hey, Miss Man, how are you? Privacy settings. Game details are on friends only. Friends list is public. Inventory is public. I mean, I guess I'll make everything public. You're welcome, chat. I don't know. Leak your credit card information. No. No. Tomorrow, or actually the day after tomorrow, we're going to play Mistfall. I'm very excited. Hey, what's good? Game looks sick. It's very cool. This all looks interesting, to be honest. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Me, Blank, and Sword's going to be playing it. We will see how it goes. Oh my god, I didn't realize there was so much booba. What the hell? Where did that come from? Is it releasing or going to early access? I think it's releasing. It's been in like an early access state for a long time. I remember Kevin showing me like people streaming it like 2 years ago. I've seen the update for SM2. Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm not interested in playing SM2 for a while now. Ever since the update for Tech Marine, I just haven't wanted. Even the update for Tech Marine, I wasn't really interested. Is SM2 update out? Yeah, it came out this morning. Like 5 hours ago or something. Game looks cool though. It's like a mixture of PvE, PvP, extraction. But it's like third person, melee, mage, RPG kind of stuff. My only worry is that the game has been in some kind of like state of production, like open production for so long that I'm worried that the game's going to feel super sweaty because people are going to know everything about the game already. And I'm going to get my ass handed to me and I'm just going to like not feel very good because everybody's going to have so much more experience. Even though the game just came out. That sucks. But hopefully the game's popular enough that like I'm not alone in being like new to the game. Game is cool though with the boss fights. It definitely got like a nice mixture of like a PvE game and a PvP game. Game is cool. I think it's gonna be pretty cheap too. Blank was saying it's only gonna be 25 bucks American, which is like, I think that's a really solid price for a game like this. Because I think if you go too high, it's too niche of a genre and it will just price people out. But I think it's like going to be cheap enough that people might take the risk on it, which is good. So I think it's a good idea. Hopefully it works out that way. Hopefully. Anyway, chat, I'm actually going to call stream here. I'm getting kind of hungry and I don't want to burn myself out on HT2. Tomorrow we'll be starting with HT2 again. And then we might play something on the second half of the stream, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, more typical stream tomorrow, just HT2 into something. We'll see. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for coming by and chilling with me. Thank you. Miss Fall is not tomorrow, but the day after. It's going to be a weird start to the stream, though, by the way. This game comes out at 9 p.m. my time, so basically 12 hours from now. I'm going to start stream on the secondary channel, Maplewood Offline, and then when it's my normal start stream, I'm going to, like, turn on the normal stream, if that makes sense. So, yeah. It's going to be a bit weird, but we'll make it work. Probably be like a nice long stream, too, playing this, like 12 hours or something, so... Anyways, everybody, nice talking with y'all. We had some great conversations today. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And, yeah, be safe. Stay cool. Peace.